Good morning, everybody. I don't know about you, but I've got my mind on turkey, so I think I'm going to keep this one short and sweet. But after the busy news week that Medtech had, I didn't even introduce myself, did I? See how I am? My mind's so on turkey that I just start rattling off. I'm Amanda Pedersen, and you're watching Medtech Unfiltered. So, as I was saying, after the busy news week that we had last week, I felt like even though technically I think a good portion of the industry is probably already on vacay by now, or those of you who are still in the office, your mind, like me, is probably on turkey and other things. So we'll keep this short and sweet, but there's definitely some things to cover after last week. First of all, there was the shocking news from Boston Scientific that the company had made the tough decision, and I do believe that it was a tough decision, not something they would have made lightly. But they have made the tough decision to recall and immediately retire their Lotus TAVR platform, transcatheter aortic valve replacement platform. It had nothing to do with the valve itself. In fact, management said that the valve had performed very well. They were pretty pleased with the data on the valve itself, and there's definitely nothing to worry about if you have an implanted Lotus valve. That's really important to know. If you have a Lotus valve implanted, there's no need to worry. There's no problem with the valve itself, but there was a problem with the delivery system, and it was just really complex, a lot of complexities, and the company decided that it just simply wouldn't be cost effective to try to improve the delivery system, so they just retired the platform altogether. So that was some pretty shocking news. And then, of course, we had the big reveal from Johnson & Johnson. They finally, it's something that the industry's been waiting for quite some time. They finally unveiled their general robotic surgery platform. And of course, who better to unveil a robotics platform than the man who pioneered the field of robotic surgery, Dr. Fred Moll. And I actually had the pleasure of speaking with Dr. Moll the day before the big reveal. I got a little bit of a sneak preview. I cannot speak today, excuse me. Again, all that turkey on my brain is just causing some lapses. But you know what was really funny about, I knew in advance, it's not like Dr. Moll just called me out of the blue to talk about this. It was something that was prearranged. But I didn't tell my family, honestly, because Dr. Moll is one of those people. I have a list of legendary luminaries in the industry who it's my goal to interview those people at some point in my career, and he was very, very high up on the list. In fact, he might have been pretty much near the top. And did not disappoint. It was a fascinating conversation. He didn't hold back. He was open to talking about how much the field has changed from 25 years ago when he founded Intuitive Surgical, all the way up through his work at Auris, which was acquired by Johnson & Johnson. And of course, that is how Johnson & Johnson acquired Dr. Moll, was by acquiring the company, and he came along with it. So it was a pretty big deal to me, and I didn't tell my family because I didn't want to jinx it. I just had this feeling all week that something was gonna happen, and they were gonna have to cancel or reschedule or put me with someone else. More likely, they'd say, "Oh, Dr. Moll's schedule changed at the last minute, but here's Bob Johnson." I don't know who Bob Johnson is, but so I didn't say anything to my family because I didn't want to jinx it. I didn't want to make a big deal out of it. I didn't want to put all that extra pressure on it, kind of like a first date. You don't want to like talk it up too much in advance. So after the call though, my son, who had been kind of in the background, he'd kind of passed through the room a couple times during the call, so he heard some of it, but he didn't, had no idea who I was talking to or exactly what we were talking about. But afterwards, I went and he's 12, and so I tell the 12-year-old all about it. I was like, do you know who that was? I just got to talk to Dr. Frederic Moll. He's, basically pioneered the field of surgical robotics. If it wasn't for him, there might be surgical robotics. I have a hard time believing that we wouldn't have any at this point. We've advanced so much, but definitely I think it's fair to say that the field would not be where it is today without that man. So really incredible person. And so the 12-year-old got really excited. He's like, so he's like the Elon Musk of Medtech. And I was like, I've heard people say he's like the Bill Gates of Medtech. And he's like, nah, that's not as cool. He's like the Elon Musk of Medtech. And I'm like, okay, well, maybe if you take out some of the crazy, take out some of Elon's crazy, then that's probably a fair comparison. Yeah, I talked to the Elon Musk of Medtech. So a little bit later, not long after that, my husband comes home from work, and as soon as he walks through the door, we meet him at the door, and I'm still gloating, and my son at this point, he's really excited, and he's like, guess what? And so I said, go ahead, you tell him, to the 12-year-old, and the 12-year-old tells my husband that I got to talk to, as he puts it, the Elon Musk of Medtech. And then, of course, I filled in. I said, actually, I talked to Dr. Frederic Moll. He's the father of robotic surgery. And, of course, the comedian that he is, he was like, whoa. That's not how birth works, okay? So he kind of teased me a little bit for referring to Dr. Moll as the father of robotic surgery, but of course that is very much how the industry does refer to him often, and in fact that's how Johnson & Johnson introduced him the following day during their big event for investors and analysts, in which they unveiled the surgical robotics platform and also just gave a really detailed update on the medical device business as a whole, because the medical device business has struggled a little bit at Johnson & Johnson. It hasn't been their star portfolio in the last few years, but I was really excited about what I heard. MD+DI will be reporting more as in the coming weeks about Johnson & Johnson's medical device portfolio and some of the other things that they talked about during that event. So we'll be reporting more about that, but suffices to say it was pretty funny. Now, my husband, of course, he's had Thanksgiving dinner with actual rock stars. Years ago, before I was in the picture, he had Thanksgiving dinner with the band Papa Roach, who happens to be the 12-year-old's favorite band of all time. And so, I guess when you've hung out with celebrities like that, and I didn't get a chance to ask him. I'm sure that I think Papa Roach is actually probably pretty low on the celebrity scale of people that my husband has encountered in his career. So I guess I could see where he might poke fun at my little fangirl moment. I had a little fangirl moment talking to Dr. Frederic Moll, but anyway, it was a lot of fun. He did have a lot of fascinating insights, and if you haven't already seen the story that came out of that interview, I'll definitely repost it here again in the comments. It's definitely worth checking out. Just an incredible guy, very, very insightful. He had a lot to say, and again, we'll be probably talking about more of that as we go along. So that's about it for me. Again, with Thanksgiving coming up just in a couple of days, I know a lot of people, unfortunately, are traveling against probably against their better judgment, and definitely against the advice of public health officials. I won't pass judgment if you are one of those people, but I will just beg you, please, please, please mask up. We will not have Medtech Unfiltered next week because we will be having Virtual Engineering Week, which is an event we're really excited about. There's some posts on our Facebook page. If you haven't seen them already, definitely check out Virtual Engineering Week. There's something for everybody. I'm personally most excited about Medtech Mornings. Every morning is going to kick off with a keynote speaker, someone from the industry that's going to give a keynote, and then that'll lead into some more in-depth educational sessions ranging from pretty much all of the hot topics. There's there's multiple sessions on AI in medtech. There's multiple sessions on 3D printing, robotics. There's really something for everyone. Smart manufacturing, of course, is a big thing. And then there's some more technical sessions in the afternoon. So be sure to check that out. Again, we'll make sure that you have all of the details right here on MD+DI's Facebook page. But with that, do make the most of your Thanksgiving, whether you're doing the virtual Thanksgiving thing or taking, some other precautions and having a small dinner, or if you are, like I said, taking a bigger risk in traveling. Again, no judgment, but mask up, take lots of hand sanitizer, protect yourself and those around you. Thanks a lot. Have a good day.